Your sacrifices don't matter anymore. That's what my son said, right before he slapped me in front of everyone at my husband's funeral. I built that house with my own paycheck. Every brick, every payment, it was mine too. And now, the boy I raised is trying to erase me like I never existed. I'm 67. I was a nurse for 30 years. I missed birthdays, skipped meals, worked nights, so he could go to college, so he could have a future. If you stay with me for just a few minutes, I'll show you how I used one hidden clause, buried in our mortgage, to take back everything he tried to steal. You'll learn how to protect your home, your legacy, and your voice before it's too late. I recorded the slap. I played it for the entire family, right in front of his lawyer. His face went white. That was the moment he realized. Mom's not backing down. If you're a mother and you think staying silent will keep the peace, please don't wait like I did. Watch this before they try to erase you too. Before I tell you everything that happened after Bob's funeral, can I ask you something simple? Who's the most important person in your life right now? Leave a 1 in the comments if it's your mother, 2 if it's your father, or 3 if it's someone else entirely. I read every comment. You're not just passing through here. You're part of this journey with me. Let's begin together. My son's gaze skips me at Bob's funeral. He's already claiming my home. I stand in the living room of our Anchorage house, the one Bob and I built brick by brick, and feel like a stranger. Snow dusts the windows, muffling the low hum of mourners. The scent of apple pie, baked by our neighbor Mrs. Larson, curls through the air, sweet against the sharp wilt of lilies on the coffee table. I adjust a lily stem, my hands trembling, not just from grief, but from something heavier, something I can't name yet. A photo on the mantel catches my eye. Bob and me planting hydrangeas in '87, our smiles wide, our hands muddy. That photo holds a secret, though I don't know what it is. I move to straighten the frame, but Mike's voice cuts through. Don't touch that photo, Mom. It's not your place. His words land like a slap, soft but stinging, in front of mourners clutching coffee cups. Heads turn, eyes dart away. Mike, my boy, 40 now, stands by the fireplace, his suit too tight, his jaw set. His eyes, once so like Bob's, scan the room, not me, measuring the hardwood floors, the high ceilings. His business is failing, I know from Laura's worried calls, but this greed, this coldness, it's new. I freeze, my fingers hovering over the frame. The room feels smaller, the air thicker. Karen, Mike's wife, smirks from the couch, her arms crossed, her nails tapping her sleeve. She's 39, always dressed like she's selling the house, not living in it. She's whispered about redecorating for months, her voice sharp with plans for modern touches. I see it now, her insecurity, the way she clings to this house like it proves she's more than her small-town roots. This place needs a fresh start, she murmurs to Mike, loud enough for me to hear. My chest tightens. Laura, my daughter, steps forward, her hug stiff, her eyes avoiding mine. She's 37, a single mom, always rushing. I know she's carrying guilt, something about her 16th birthday when I worked late, missing her party to pay the bills. She pulls back quickly, her perfume fading. Sorry, Mom, she mumbles, her voice lost in the crowd. Emma, her 16-year-old daughter, tugs my sleeve, her brown eyes wide. You okay, Gran? She whispers, her warmth a lifeline. Emma's always loved my stories, nursing nights, gardening with Bob. She senses the tension, her loyalty fierce. Pat Sullivan, my best friend, pulls me to the kitchen, her gray curls bouncing. She's 65, sharp as ever, her wit honed by her own family battles. They're acting like you're a guest, Helen, she mutters, pouring coffee. Her son cut her off years ago when she stopped funding his debts. She knows this ache. Don't let Mike push you out. Her words stir something in me, a spark I thought grief had snuffed out. I nod, but my throat's too tight to speak. I drift back to the living room, my mind snagging on '87. Bob and I signed the mortgage that year, my steady clerk's paycheck at the clinic making it possible when his auto shop faltered. My name's on the deed, right beside his. That house wasn't just wood and walls. It was our sweat, our skipped dinners, our dreams for Mike and Laura. I glance at Mike, now by Bob's desk, his fingers rifling through papers. He slips a small bank key into his pocket, his eyes darting. The key glints, small but heavy, like a promise or a threat. My breath catches. What's he hiding? The mourners' voices fade, their condolences hollow. I step toward the door, needing air. The snow outside is soft, clinging to my coat. My breath clouds the night, visible, real. I built this home, every nail, every payment. Did I do it just to be pushed out of it? The key's glint lingers in my mind, a question I can't answer yet. The bank key vanishes into Mike's pocket. What's he hiding from me? If your own child ever looked at you like you were a stranger in your own home, how would you breathe through that? What you're about to witness still makes my hands shake. If you're still here, drop a 5 in the comments, because this next part I almost couldn't tell. Mike's slap burns my cheek. His words cut deeper. This isn't your home anymore. Get out! The Dawson living room, still heavy with funeral flowers, feels like a stage for betrayal. Slow jazz drifts from a speaker, its soft notes clashing with the clink of coffee cups in mourners' hands. Heavy snow falls outside, muffling Anchorage's quiet streets. I stand frozen, my hand on a chair I'd moved to make space, my heart pounding. Bob's voice echoes from years ago, when he was still strong before cancer stole him. You're not powerless, Helen. I didn't know I'd need those words today. I'd only shifted the chair to clear a path for guests, but Mike's eyes, sharp and cold, lock on me. He's 40 now, broad like his father, but his face is twisted, not with grief, but with something uglier. His business is failing. I've heard the whispers from Laura, but this anger feels personal. You're a burden now, Mom, he barks, loud enough for the room to still. Mourners freeze, their eyes darting to the floor. Karen, his wife, nods from the couch, her lips curling into a smirk. She's 39, her sleek blazer screaming control, hiding the insecurity of her small-town past. She's wanted this house since they moved in, her plans for new curtains and marble counters a constant jab. I open my mouth to speak. This is my home too, Mike. My voice is steady, but my hands shake. His hand swings fast, the slap cracking across my cheek. The sting is sharp, but the humiliation burns hotter. Gasps ripple through the room. Laura, my daughter, stands near the door, her face pale, her hands clenched. She's 37, always rushing, always guilty since I missed her 16th birthday for work. She wants to step forward. I see it in her eyes, but she freezes, her silence a fresh wound. Emma, her 16-year-old, clutches my arm, her voice a desperate whisper. Gran, don't go. Emma's always loved my stories, the ones about late-night nursing shifts and planting roses with Bob. Her loyalty is a spark in this dark room. Karen leans forward, her smirk widening. It's our house now, Helen, she says, her voice dripping with triumph. Pat, my best friend, storms from the kitchen, her gray curls bouncing, her eyes blazing. She's 65, tough from her own family fights. Her son cut her off when she stopped paying his way. You're stealing her life. Pat snaps at Karen, her finger pointing like a dart. The mourners shift, uncomfortable, their coffee cups forgotten. I touch my cheek, the heat pulsing under my fingers. My phone in my coat pocket records it all, a habit from Bob's illness when I tracked his meds and doctor's orders. I didn't plan to capture this. I don't cry. I can't. My legs move before my mind catches up, carrying me to the hallway where my suitcase waits, still packed from Bob's hospital days. I grab it, the handle cold, the weight familiar. Pat follows, her hand on my shoulder. Don't let them break you, Helen, she whispers. Emma's eyes brim with tears, but Laura just watches, her silence louder than Mike's words. I step into the snowy driveway, the cold biting my face, softer than Mike's hand. My coat pocket crinkles, and I pull out a folded note in Bob's shaky handwriting. Safe deposit box 221. My breath catches, clouding in the air. He left me something, a safeguard. I clutch the note, vowing not to break. The snow clings to my coat, heavy but not crushing. I hail a taxi, its headlights cutting through the dark. The note's ink smudges in the snow, but its words are clear. Was I ever their mother, or just their caretaker? I slide into the taxi, the door clicking shut, the note tight in my fist. What did Bob hide in that box? The motel's silence drowns Mike's voice. I'm not broken, just beginning. The dim room smells of bleach and damp carpet, a far cry from the Dawson home I left behind. Snow taps the window, soft but insistent, catching the glow of a coffee shop across the Anchorage street. The same shop where I slung lattes on weekends to pay Mike's tuition. Pat's scarf, a farmer's market gift, lies across the bed, its bright stripes a quiet comfort. I sit on the edge of the mattress, Bob's note in my coat pocket, its edges worn from my fingers. Safe deposit box 221, it reads in his shaky script. Did he know Mike would turn on me? My cheek still stings from his slap, but it's the words. This isn't your home anymore. That cut deepest. I trace the scarf's threads, my mind drifting to 87. I was 30 then, a nurse working double shifts at the clinic, my hands cracked from sanitizer. Mike was a toddler, his crayons scattered across our old apartment floor. Bob's auto shop had failed, his credit shot, so my paycheck got us the mortgage for the house. My name on the deed, right beside his, was my promise to our kids. A home, a future. I gave up my nursing dreams, the chance to be a head nurse to pay for Mike's college. For Laura, too. I never asked for thanks, but I didn't expect this erasure. A knock jolts me. Pat Sullivan pushes the door open, her gray curls damp from snow, her eyes fierce. She's 65, my rock, carrying her own scars. Her son cut her off when she stopped bailing him out. Don't let Mike erase you, Helen, she says, dropping onto the chair. My boy tried that, called me a burden when I said no to his debts. You're stronger than I was then. Her words land like a spark, fanning the anger smoldering in my chest. I nod, my throat tight, and offer her coffee from the motel's cheap pot. Its bitter steam curls between us. My phone buzzes, Mike's name flashing. I hesitate, then answer, bracing myself. You need to stay out of my house, Mom, he says, his voice cold, defensive. Your sacrifices don't matter anymore. The words hit like a punch, denying every late night, every missed meal. I built that house with my sweat, Mike, I snap, my voice sharper than I expect. He scoffs. You're holding us back. The line goes dead, his unapologetic hang-up echoing in the room. Pat's scarf draped over my lap feels warm, its colors bold against the gray motel walls. I grip it, my resolve hardening like ice. Emma's text lights up my phone. Mom, sorry, Gran, I miss you. My granddaughter, 16 and fierce, always loved my stories, how I stitched wounds, planted roses with Bob. Her words are a lifeline, pulling me from the dark. I smile, typing back, love you, Em. As I set the phone down, it buzzes again, a voicemail from Mike, left by mistake. I play it, my breath catching. Karen, we need that will to secure the house, his voice hisses, urgent. She can't know. The message cuts off, abrupt and chilling. A will? My heart races, Bob's note suddenly heavier in my pocket. If you found out someone you raised was hiding a plan to erase you, what would hurt more, the betrayal or the silence? I didn't know what I was about to uncover. Drop a 6 in the comments if you're still with me. What comes next? Changed everything. I stand pacing the small room, the snow's tap a steady rhythm. Mike's words, your sacrifices don't matter, loop in my mind, each one a spark to my anger. I'm not the burden he claims. I'm the one who held this family together, who paid for his dreams. Did I raise him to erase my life? Pat watches me, her eyes steady. You've got a fight in you, Helen, she says. I nod, the voicemail's echo urging me forward. I'll find that safe deposit box. I'll uncover what Mike's hiding. The voicemail cuts off abruptly. What will is Mike after? The bank vault's chill feels safer than home. Bob left something for me. The Anchorage Bank is sterile, its fluorescent lights buzzing like a distant hive. Snow piles outside, melting into slush, soaking the sidewalks of this quiet morning. Pat's farmer's market scarf, bright with reds and blues, drapes over my shoulder, a gift from her last weekend's outing. Its warmth steadies me as I clutch Bob's note. Safe deposit box 221, its ink smudged but clear. Pat's words from yesterday linger in my mind. Bob had a plan to protect you. A secret waits, and I'm here to find it, my heart pounding with purpose. Mike's voicemail, "We need that, Will," echoes, his voice sharp with greed. I'm not the burden he called me. I'm something more. Pat walks beside me, her boots squeaking on the polished floor. She's 65, her gray curls tucked under a knit cap, her eyes fierce with the fire of her own battles. My son cut me off when I stopped paying his bills, she says, her voice low as we approach the clerk's desk. Called me selfish, like Mike's doing to you. You're stronger than I was, Helen. Her words spark anger in me, not just at Mike, but at the years I let my sacrifices go unnoticed. I hand the note to the clerk, a young woman with a neutral smile, her name tag reading, Lisa. She checks my ID, her fingers quick on the keyboard, and leads us to the vault. The air grows colder, the hum louder, but Pat's scarf feels like armor. The safe deposit box clicks open, a small metal heart in this sterile room. Inside, I find a folded letter in Bob's handwriting and a worn diary, its leather cover soft from years of touch. My fingers tremble as I open the diary to a marked page, dated 3 years ago, when Bob's cancer was winning. If Mike hurts you, use Clause 17B, it reads. My breath catches. I see Bob in our bedroom, his frame thin under flannel pajamas, his eyes sharp despite the pain. He'd been ashamed, hiding his fear that Mike's greed, already budding then, would turn on me. We'd signed the mortgage together in '87, my nursing job securing it when his shop failed. He knew my name on the deed was my strength. The diary's worn pages crinkle under my touch, urging me forward, a whisper from Bob across time. Pat leans closer, her coffee-scented breath warm. He saw this coming, didn't he? She asks. I nod, my throat tight. The letter beside the diary is simple, just a few lines. Helen, you're not powerless. Clause 17B is your shield. I don't open it yet, its weight is enough for now. My mind flashes to Mike's slap, his voice. Your sacrifices don't matter. And the voicemail about a will. He's hunting something. But Bob was steps ahead. I sift through the box, my fingers brushing a sealed envelope marked For Helen in Bob's careful script. My heart skips. Pat's eyes meet mine, steady and sure. Open it when you're ready, she says. It's your power now. I hesitate, the envelope heavy, its contents a mystery that feels like a turning point. I slide the diary and letter into my purse, keeping the envelope separate, its weight grounding me. The vault's chill fades as we step back into the bank's lobby, the slush outside glistening under morning light. Did Bob know I'd have to fight my own son? My anger at Mike's betrayal sharpens, no longer just hurt, but a fire to reclaim what's mine. Pat squeezes my arm, her scarf brushing my shoulder. You've got this, Helen, she says. I nod, the envelope's promise burning in my hands. Mike thinks he's won, but he doesn't know what's coming. The sealed envelope feels heavy in my hands. What's Bob hiding inside? Bob's letter shakes me to my core. He saw Mike's betrayal coming. Pat's Anchorage apartment glows warm, the scent of grilled chicken Laura brought curling through the air like a hug. Snow falls soft outside, catching streetlight glints, a quiet veil over the city. The farmer's market scarf, still on my shoulders, brushes my neck, a reminder of Pat's strength. The sealed envelope from the bank vault sits on the coffee table, its broken seal revealing a truth Mike never knew. My fingers itch to unfold Bob's letter again. Its words, Clause 17B protects you, burning in my mind. Mike's slap, his voice snarling, "You're a burden!" Echoes, but I'm not crumbling. I'm ready to fight. Pat, 65, her gray curls framing sharp eyes, sets her coffee mug down with a clink. She's my anchor, her own son's betrayal, cutting her off over money, giving her grit. "Call Susan, Helen," she urges, nodding at the letter. "You've got him now." I unfold the paper, Bob's handwriting shaky but sure. "Helen, Clause 17B protects you if Mike abuses you." My chest tightens. I see Bob 3 years back, cancer thinning him, his voice fierce in our bedroom. "I won't let Mike hurt you." He'd seen Mike's greed growing while I brushed it off as stress. My nursing shifts, my name on the mortgage, built our home. This clause is Bob's gift, his way to keep me standing. The door swings open, Laura rushing in, her coat dusted with snow. She's 37, her face etched with guilt, her hands clutching the chicken bag like a lifeline. "I should have stopped Mike at the funeral," she says, tears brimming. "I didn't know you missed my 16th birthday for work, Mom." Her words crack the wall between us. I touch her arm, my voice soft. "I worked nights, Laura, hands raw to pay for your braces, Mike's college." She sits close, her shoulder warm against mine, her eyes meeting mine for the first time in years. "I see you now," she whispers. The grilled chicken's savory warmth fills the room, mirroring our fragile reconnection, a bridge over years of distance. Pat dials Susan Harper, Bob's lawyer, her phone on speaker. Susan, 45, her voice steady, cuts through the quiet. "Helen, Clause 17B disinherits Mike for verbal or physical abuse. It's legally binding." My pulse quickens. I find a USB drive in the envelope labeled Proof in Bob's script. My hands shake as I plug it into Pat's laptop, the screen flickering. The audio crackles. Mike's voice cold. "This isn't your home. Get out!" The slap's sharp sound follows, echoing in the room. Laura's hand flies to her mouth, her eyes wide. Pat's jaw tightens, her own pain flashing. Susan says, "This audio locks it in, Helen. You're in control." I grip the USB, its edges biting my palm, a weapon against Mike's cruelty. I'm not the burden he claimed. I'm the one who built that house, and I'll take it back. The laptop glows, another file icon blinking. For Helen. My heart skips. Laura's hand rests on mine, her warmth steadying. "You're stronger than I knew," she says. Pat's mug steams, her eyes proud. I don't open the file yet. The claws and audio are enough, a fire in my chest. Was my silence my strength or my biggest mistake? The snow outside falls gentle, the streetlights soft. Mike thinks he's won, but Bob's plan is my shield, and I'm ready to wield it. The USB holds another file, unopened. What else did Bob leave me? Mike's voice on the USB betrays him. I'm not voiceless anymore. The motel room, my temporary Anchorage refuge, feels different today, less like a cage and more like a command post. The snow outside has turned to slush, gurgling in the street, while the coffee shop's glow across the way reminds me of long shifts. Pat's scarf, slung over the chair, catches the morning light, a splash of color against the drab walls. Bob's letter from the vault sits on the table, its promise of power. Clause 17B protects you. A fire in my chest. Mike's words, "Your sacrifices don't matter," sting like a slap, but I'm done hurting. I'm ready to act. The USB in my hand, a key to justice. I meet Susan Harper, Bob's lawyer, in my room, the hum of her laptop filling the quiet. Susan, 45, her dark hair pulled back, exudes calm, her professionalism a steady anchor. I plug the USB into her computer, my fingers steady now. The audio crackles, Mike's voice cold as ice. "This isn't your home, get out!" The slap's sharp sound follows, a wound made real again. Susan's eyes narrow, her pen pausing. "This is ironclad, Helen," she says, her voice firm. With Clause 17B, you've got him. My pulse surges, a wave of power washing over me. I see Bob, his cancer-thinned hands drafting that clause, his regret for our distant years fueling his foresight. My nursing days, pushing through exhaustion for Mike's college, Laura's braces flood back. I'm not the burden Mike claimed. I'm the one who built that house. Susan drives me to the bank, the Anchorage streets alive with morning bustle. A coffee truck's aroma, rich and warm, wafts through the slushy air, a slice of daily life grounding me. Inside, the bank hums with clients, their voices a low murmur under fluorescent lights. The officer, a middle-aged man with a plain tie, pulls up my account, his eyes scanning the screen. I slide the mortgage documents across the counter, my name clear beside Bob's. I'm stopping the automatic payments, I say, my voice steady. Mike's entitled sneer, "Your sacrifices don't matter," spurs me on. The officer nods, his fingers clicking the keyboard. "You're in charge, Mrs. Dawson," he says, handing me a confirmation slip. Coffee steam from the truck outside swirls in my mind, mirroring my rising strength, a tide turning against Mike's greed. Back in the motel, Susan spreads papers across the table, planning a family meeting to confront Mike. "We'll play the audio, present the clause," she says, her pen tapping. I nod, my resolve iron. As she packs her laptop, I open the USB again, curious. A file labeled Bob's Note catches my eye, an email dated before his death. My heart skips as I read, "Sell if you must, Helen. You're enough." Bob's words, simple but heavy, hit me like a hug. I see him in our garden, planting roses, his regret for leaning on me during his illness clear in his eyes. Selling the house, my life's work, feels unthinkable, but his trust in me sparks a new kind of courage. Can I rebuild a family that tried to break me? I slip the USB into my purse. Bob's email a quiet flame. Susan's voice lingers. "You're in control." The slush outside gurgles, the coffee truck's hum fading. Mike thinks he's won, but I hold the power now, my nursing grit ready to fight. Bob's email hints at selling the house. Could I really let it go? Mike's smug grin at dinner fuels my fire. He'll feel my strength tonight. The Dawson dining room, once my haven, chokes with tension. Blueberry cobbler baked by Laura sits untouched on the table, its sweetness sour against the bitter words hanging in the air. Snow blankets the Anchorage lawn outside, glowing under the porch lights, a soft veil over a hard night. Bob's email, "Sell if you must," whispers freedom in my mind, the house no longer my cage. Mike's slap, his cruel "you're a burden," still stings, but the USB and Clause 17B in my purse are my shield. I'm 67, not broken but blazing, ready to face my son. Mike, 40, leans back in his chair, his tie loosened, his eyes glinting with entitlement. His failing business has made him desperate, but his greed is older, rooted in years I sheltered him. "This house is ours now," he boasts, gesturing at the walls I paid for. Karen, 39, her sleek blazer crisp, eggs him on with a nod, her smirk hiding the insecurity of her small-town past. She craves this house as proof she's more than her roots. I clutch my crocheted blanket, a gift I made for Bob during his chemo days, its soft loops a memory of love. "You're nothing to this family, Mom," Mike snaps, his voice loud, cutting through the room. He snatches the blanket, tearing it, and tosses it into the fireplace. The flames crackle, devouring it. My heart lurches, but my eyes burn with fury, not tears. Laura, 37, slams her fork down, her face flushed. Her guilt over my absence at her 16th birthday, when I worked double shifts, fuels her now. "She's our mother, Mike," she shouts, her voice shaking. Karen sneers. She's pathetic, clinging to the past. Pat, 65, her gray curls tight with anger, leans forward. Her own son's betrayal taught her this fight. "You're stealing her life." "Emma," she snaps at Karen. Emma, 16, grips my hand under the table, her whisper fierce. "You're enough, Gran." Her love, born from my nursing stories and garden days with Bob, steadies me. The fireplace's crackle echoes my resolve. The blanket's ashes a line crossed. I'm done being silent. I stand, my chair scraping the floor. "My name's on the deed, Mike," I say, my voice low but steel. His eyes narrow, but he doesn't answer. The room feels smaller, the cobbler's scent cloying. Laura's hand brushes mine, her support solidifying. As we clear the table, Emma slips me a folded ledger page from the attic, her fingers trembling. Bob's handwriting scrawls across it. "Trust only Helen." My pulse quickens. This house, my sacrifices are mine to wield. I vow to use this against Mike, his greed no match for Bob's foresight. Emma's eyes meet mine, bright with hope. The ashes settle in the fireplace, but my fight is just beginning. "Did I hold this family together, or let it choke me?" Emma whispers, her voice soft. "I found more papers in the attic, Gran." What else is hidden? The ledger proves my worth. Mike's lies won't stand another day. Pat's Anchorage apartment wraps me in warmth, its cluttered bookshelves stacked with novels from her book club, their spines worn from shared stories. Melting snow drips outside, a soft patter signaling spring's slow creep, a new beginning mirroring my own. The farmer's market scarf, bright and bold, rests on the couch, a reminder of Pat's unwavering support. Bob's ledger note, "Trust only Helen," guides me, its words a beacon through the fog of Mike's betrayal. His slap, his cruel, "You're a leech," echo in my mind. But the USB, Clause 17B, and Bob's email, "Sell if you must," are my armor. I'm 67, not defeated but resolute, ready to end this fight. I spread the ledger on Pat's coffee table, its pages yellowed, detailing every mortgage payment I made, my nursing shifts, my weekends cleaning houses, my cracked hands. Laura, 37, sits beside me, her eyes bright with pride. Her guilt over my absence at her 16th birthday, when I worked to pay her braces, has turned to fierce support. "You're unstoppable, Mom," she says, her voice steady. Emma, her 16-year-old daughter, leans forward, her ponytail swinging. "You're my hero, Gran," she adds, her love rooted in my stories of stitching wounds and planting roses with Bob. Pat, 65, her gray curls loose, sets down her coffee mug. "My book club's rooting for you," she says, her own estrangement from her son fueling her fire. "When I stopped paying his way, he called me useless. You're rewriting your story, Helen." Their words light a fire in me, my resolve hardening like the thawing ground outside. The door bangs open, Mike storming in, his face flushed, his tie askew. He's 40, desperate, his failing business pushing him to the edge. "You're a leech, Mom," he shouts, his voice slicing through the room. "You're dragging us down with your old grudges." His words, unjust and cruel, hit like a second slap, angering me and anyone who'd hear. Karen must have sent him, her insecurity over losing the house as her status symbol driving his rage. I stand, my hands steady, my voice calm, but steel. "My name's on the deed, Mike," I say. "I built that house, not you." His eyes narrow, but he falters, his fists clenching. Laura stands beside me, her hand on my arm. "Leave her alone, Mike," she snaps. Emma glares, her loyalty fierce. Pat's eyes blaze, her own pain mirrored. The snow's drip outside steadies my pulse, my resolve a quiet storm. Susan Harper, Bob's lawyer, joins us on speakerphone, her voice crisp at 45. "The audio and Clause 17B are ready for the family meeting," she says, her professionalism anchoring us. Mike's abuse, verbal and physical, nullifies his inheritance. I nod, the USB's weight in my purse a promise. Mike storms out, his boots thudding, but not before I glimpse a text on my phone, forwarded from Laura's. Karen to Mike. "Stop her before the meeting." My heart skips, their counterplan a shadow looming. Susan's voice cuts through. "You're in control, Helen." The snow's drip outside mirrors my steady resolve, a rhythm pushing me forward. At the bank, the air hums with activity. Tellers' voices, a low buzz under bright lights. Slush puddles gleam outside, the coffee truck's steam fading in the spring air. The officer, a gray-haired woman with a calm nod, pulls up my account. "Mrs. Dawson, you're listed as co-owner," she says, her pen tapping. I sign the preliminary sale agreement with the Elder Protection Foundation, dedicating the house to displaced women like me. My hands don't shake. I see Bob, his regret for our distant years during his cancer clear in his email. "You're enough." Pat, waiting outside, cheers, her voice bright. "You're rewriting history, Helen." Laura and Emma hug me, their warmth a new foundation. The bank's hum fades, my purpose clear. I'm not just selling a house. I'm reclaiming my life. Can I free myself without losing who I was? Karen's text glows on my phone. What are they planning to stop me? The family meeting silence waits for my voice. Mike's lies shatter today. Aunt Linda's Anchorage home, a neutral haven, hums with tension. A long table holds lemon cookies and steaming coffee, their cozy scent clashing with the storm brewing. Snow piles against the windows, but spring's warmth seeps through the glass, a faint promise of renewal. Bob's letter, tucked in my purse, burns with its promise. You're not powerless. I'm 67, standing tall, the USB and Clause 17B my weapons. Mike's slap, his cruel "you're a leech," fade against my resolve. I'm here to expose him, to reclaim my worth. And nothing, not his greed, not Karen's sneers, will stop me. I sit at the table, my hands steady, the farmer's market scarf loose around my neck. Mike, 40, slouches across from me, his face tight, his failing business weighing heavy. He's desperate to keep the house, his entitlement a mask for panic. "Reinstate the mortgage, Mom," he demands, his voice loud, cutting through the relatives' murmurs. "You're ruining us." Karen, 39, her blazer sharp, leans forward, her smirk cold. "You're a joke, Helen," she sneers, her insecurity over losing the house as her status symbol fueling her venom. I grip the USB in my purse, my calm, fierce, my eyes locked on Mike's. Aunt Linda, 70, shifts in her seat, her neutral gaze uneasy. Cousins and uncles, their coffee cups paused, watch, their shock a quiet hum. Susan Harper, Bob's lawyer, stands beside me, her 45-year-old poise unshaken. "We have evidence," she says, her voice clear, holding up a copy of Clause 17B. "This clause disinherits Mike for abuse, verbal or physical." She nods to me, and I plug the USB into her laptop, my fingers steady. The audio crackles. Mike's voice cold. "This isn't your home. Get out!" The slap's sharp sound echoes, raw and undeniable. Relatives gasp, cups clinking against saucers. Mike stammers, his face pale. "I was grieving," he blurts, his justification flimsy, his desperation tied to his crumbling business. Laura, 37, her guilt over my missed 16th birthday now strength, slams her hand on the table. "You betrayed Mom," she shouts, her eyes blazing. Emma, 16, glares at Mike, her loyalty fierce, rooted in my stories of nursing and gardening with Bob. The lemon cookie's scent sours, the tension thick, a storm breaking. I stand, my voice low but unshakable. "I'm not your tenant," I tell Mike, my gaze cutting through his. I pull a pamphlet from my purse, its glossy pages found days ago, outlining the Elder Protection Foundation. "I'm selling the house to them," I say, my words steady. "It'll be a home for displaced women, like me." The room stills, relatives' eyes wide. Pat, 65, her gray curls wild, grins, her triumph over her own son's betrayal mirrored in mine. "You're rewriting history," she cheers, her voice bright. Susan nods, her legal work sealing my justice. Mike's face crumples, Karen's smirk gone, her fear of losing status raw. Laura's hand finds mine, her support solid. Emma's glare softens to pride, her love alight. I see Bob, his regret for our distant years during his cancer clear in his claws, his trust in me complete. Did they ever see me? Or just what I gave them? Mike leans forward, his voice breaking. "Don't sell, Mom," he begs, his plea a shadow of the boy I raised. Can I hold firm against it? The house is no longer mine, but neither is it Mike's. I'm finally free. The Anchorage Community Center hums with purpose, its walls adorned with a quilt display, vibrant patches celebrating local women stitched together like lives, spring slush puddles outside, gleaming under a weak sun, a thawing world mirroring my own. Bob's email, "Sell if you must," echoes in my mind, its words a quiet nod to this moment. Mike's slap, his venomous, "You're a leech," fade against the USB and clause 17B in my purse. I'm 67, liberated, my heart light as I step into this new chapter, ready to redefine my legacy. I stand at a podium, the Elder Protection Foundation's director beside me, her smile warm. The room buzzes with supporters, their murmurs soft under the quilt's bright colors. I sign the sale agreement, my pen steady, dedicating the house to displaced women, women like me, pushed out but not broken. "Your story will inspire many," the director says, her voice clear. I nod, seeing my nursing days, my hands raw from double shifts, woven into this act like the quilts behind us. My legacy isn't the house I built with Bob, but the strength I'm giving others. Susan Harper, 45, my lawyer, stands nearby, her briefcase open, her professionalism sealing this justice. Pat, 65, her gray curls bouncing, grins from the front row, her own triumph over estrangement shining in her eyes. The doors swing open, Mike and Karen bursting in, their faces flushed. Mike, 40, his suit rumpled, looks desperate, his failing business a noose tightening. "Don't sell, Mom," he begs, his voice cracking, loud enough to hush the room. "You're destroying our family." Karen, 39, her blazer crisp but her eyes wild, snaps, "You're selfish, Helen." Her words sharp with her fear of losing status, sting but don't pierce. Their accusations, unjust after Mike's slap and cruelty, burn in my chest. I step forward, my voice calm but steel. "You lost me first," I say, my gaze locking on Mike's. The quilt's colors blur behind me, their patterns sharpening my resolve. Supporters murmur, their support a quiet wave. I'm not swaying. Laura, 37, moves to my side, her hand warm on my arm. Her guilt over my absence at her 16th birthday has turned to fierce love. "You taught me strength, Mom," she says, her voice steady. Emma, 16, her ponytail swinging, adds, "We're your family, Gran." Her loyalty, born from my stories of stitching wounds and planting roses, glows in her eyes. Pat claps, her grin wide. "You showed him, Helen," she calls, her own fight against her son's greed fueling her cheer. I feel unburdened, the house's weight gone, my legacy secure in this room, in these faces. The slush outside glints, a world opening. Susan's phone buzzes, an email from Mike's lawyer glowing on the screen. Its subject, "Counterclaim," sends a chill through me, a hint of trouble lingering. My heart skips, but my hands don't shake. I've faced Mike's worst and won. Did I save myself or others like me? The quilt stitches hold firm like my resolve as I step away from the podium, my family, Laura, Emma, Pat, by my side. Mike's plea fades, his voice small against my strength. The lawyer's email glows on Susan's phone. Could Mike still fight back? The fire consumes the old photo album. My heart stays whole, lighter than ever. My lakefront cabin in Anchorage is simple, its wooden walls a quiet embrace. The fire pit crackles on the porch, its glow dancing across the fishing dock where spring ripples glint on the lake. Budding trees whisper renewal, their soft rustle a song of peace. Bob's love woven into his letter and email, "You're enough," lives in this new life, not the house I sold. Mike's venom, "You're a leech," and his slap are shadows now, fading against the USB and clause 17B that freed me. I'm 67, liberated, ready to redefine family on my terms, my heart as open as the lake before me. I unpack Bob's letter, its paper soft from my touch, and set it on the kitchen table. The cabin smells of cedar and coffee, a far cry from the Dawson house's heavy lilies. I smile, recalling our youthful dream. Bob and me, 30, planting hydrangeas, my nursing shifts securing our mortgage. That house was our hope for Mike and Laura, but it became my cage. Now, free, I'm at peace, the fishing docks calm, mirroring my heart. I trace the letter's words, Bob's regret for our distant years during his cancer clear in his care. My sacrifices, double shifts, missed dreams, weren't for nothing. They built me, not just a home. The gravel crunches outside, Laura's car pulling up. She's 37, her face soft with love, her guilt over my absence at her 16th birthday now a bridge between us. Emma, 16, bounds out, her ponytail swinging, her eyes bright. They carry a new photo frame, a picture of us 3 laughing at Pat's last summer barbecue. "We're your family now, Mom," Laura says, her voice warm, setting the frame on the mantel. Emma hugs me, her whisper fierce. "You've always been my hero, Gran." Her love, sparked by my stories of stitching wounds and planting roses, glows like the fire pit's embers. The fire's glow beckons, warm and final, calling me to let go. I pull the old family album from a box, its pages heavy with Mike's childhood, crayon drawings, soccer games, his betrayal, his "you're nothing" cuts, but I'm done carrying it. Laura and Emma sit beside me on the porch, the fire pit crackling. "I was your mother, not a tenant," I say, my voice steady, tossing the album into the flames. The pages curl, Mike's photos turning to ash, a symbolic release from his cruelty. I feel liberated, my new family complete with Laura and Emma's warmth. Pat calls, her voice bright over the phone, her 65-year-old grit shining. "You're free, Helen," she says, her triumph over her own son's estrangement echoing mine. The lake ripples, the dock's silhouette steady, my heart full. My laptop pings, an email from the Elder Protection Foundation glowing on the screen. "Your story is inspiring others." My breath catches, the words hinting at a broader impact, a new purpose. Laura's hand rests on mine, Emma's smile wide. Did I lose a home or find a world? The fire's embers settle, the lake's calm, a mirror to my peace. The foundation's email glows. "Share your story? Will I speak for others?" My voice carries now, not for Mike, but for women like me. Silence was my power. The morning light bathes my Anchorage cabin, its wooden walls glowing like a warm embrace. The lake outside sparkles, its ripples catching the sun's early rays, a dance of light that feels like freedom. A small radio hums Alaskan folk music, its twang soft and grounding, weaving through the cedar-scented air. My laptop sits open on the kitchen table, its screen bright with purpose, a blank page waiting for my words. Bob's trust in me, "You're enough," lives in this moment, a legacy beyond the house I sold to the Elder Protection Foundation. Mike's slap, his venomous, "You're a leech," and "This isn't your home," are distant echoes, drowned by the USB, Clause 17B, and the ashes of the photo album I burned. I'm 67, at peace, my heart full as I sit to weave my story for others, women whose sacrifices, like mine, were erased. I adjust the microphone, its cool metal steady in my hands, and begin recording for Silver Stories, a podcast for women like me, pushed to the margins but never broken. My voice, once quiet to keep the peace, now flows, gentle but sure. Silence isn't surrender, it's preparation, I say. The words rising from years of nursing, hands raw from double shifts, and gardening with Bob, are roses blooming under Anchorage's fleeting sun. I pause, the folk music strum filling the silence, and see myself at 30, signing the mortgage in 87, my steady clerk's paycheck securing our home when Bob's shop faltered. Every payment, every missed dinner was for Mike and Laura, my hope for their futures. Mike's betrayal, his slap, his greed, tried to erase that, but Bob's foresight, his claws and letter gave me power. I speak of those nights, stitching wounds in the ER, my feet aching, my heart full for my kids. The lake's ripples outside mirror my calm, each word tying me to others who've built homes, only to be pushed out. Pat's voice echoes in my mind, her 65-year-old grit a spark for my own. She'd cheered me on her own triumph over her son's estrangement, when he cut her off for refusing his debts, mirroring my fight. "You're rewriting history," she'd said at the community center, her gray curls wild with pride. I weave her into my story, her book club's support, her Anchorage life a thread in my tapestry. The radio's twang carries me, my words a bridge to women listening, their own stories waiting to be told. I recall the hydrangeas Bob and I planted, their purple blooms a promise we kept through years of struggle. Mike saw only a house to claim, but it was my sweat, my silence that built it. Now free, I'm not just telling my story, I'm giving others permission to tell theirs. The cabin's quiet wraps me, broken only by the radio's soft chords and the lake's gentle lap against the dock. I sip coffee, its warmth grounding, and let my mind wander to Bob. His cancer years, when he grew distant, weren't coldness but shame. He hated burdening me, his regret clear in his letter. I see him in our garden, his hands muddy, his smile soft. "We built this together," he'd whispered, and Clause 17B was his last gift, ensuring I'd stand tall. I speak into the mic, my voice steady, sharing how I burned the album, letting go of Mike's betrayal. The ashes didn't break me, they freed me. Women listening, I say, know this: your silence holds power, waiting for the moment to speak. The folk music hums, its rhythm a heartbeat, connecting me to a community I haven't met but feel. My phone pings, Laura's video call lighting up the screen. Her face, 37 and radiant, fills the grainy feed, her smile a bridge over years of distance. Her guilt over my absence at her 16th birthday, when I worked to pay her braces, has turned to fierce love. "You're my hero, Mom," she says, her voice warm, her Anchorage apartment bustling behind her. I smile, my heart swelling. I see her at 16, her birthday cake untouched, my absence a wound I didn't know I'd caused. "I worked for you, Laura," I say, my voice soft. "I know," she replies, her eyes bright. "You gave us everything." Our bond, rebuilt through her support at the family meeting, is whole now, a new foundation. The lake's ripples catch the light, a mirror to our connection, strong and clear. Another ping, Emma's text. "Gran, you're trending." My granddaughter, 16, her ponytail always swinging, fills my heart with joy. Her love, sparked by my stories of nursing nights and rose gardens, has been my anchor. I text back, "Love you, Em," and imagine her in her room, scrolling, her pride in me, a spark for her own dreams. She'd stood by me, glaring at Mike, her loyalty fierce when I played the audio, when I sold the house. I weave her into my podcast, her youth a hope for the future, a reminder that family isn't walls but hearts. Pat's support lingers too, her voice in my mind, cheering my triumph as she did her own. The radio's twang carries my words, a song for Laura, Emma, and women listening, their courage waiting to bloom. I step onto the porch, coffee mug steaming, the lake's calm, a canvas of peace. The fishing dock juts out, its wood worn but steady, a nod to Anchorage's outdoor life. I open my laptop, the podcast page glowing with comments. "You gave me courage," one reads, another. "You're not alone." My breath catches, their words weaving me into a community, a choir of women who've held families together only to be pushed aside. I sip my coffee, its warmth spreading, and read more. I left my son's demands behind. Your story saved me. Each comment is a ripple, like the lakes, spreading my legacy outward. I'm not just Helen Dawson, the woman who lost a house. I'm a voice for the silent. My sacrifice is now a light for others. The sun climbs higher, the folk music soft, its chords a gentle pulse. I think of Bob, his hands in the garden, his trust in me, a seed that grew into this moment. Laura and Emma, my new family, are my roots now, their love stronger than Mike's betrayal. Pat's triumph, woven into my story, echoes in my peace. Did I raise my children, or did I raise myself? My heart answers, both. The lake glints, the cabin holds me, and my voice, once quiet, now carries far. I'm home, not in walls, but in this truth, this peace. The podcast page glows, another comment pinging, "Can you tell my story too?" My story's out there, sparking others, but a new call pulls me forward. The lake outside my Anchorage cabin glints in the late spring sun, its ripples a quiet song under the hum of Alaskan folk music from my radio. The cedar scent of my home, simple and sturdy, wraps me in calm. I'm 67, my heart steady after selling the house, burning Mike's photos and recording my Silver Stories podcast. The listener's comment, "Can you tell my story too?" glows on my laptop, a spark igniting a new purpose. Bob's trust, his words, "You're enough," carry me, not just to peace, but to a mission for women like me, silenced but strong. I sit at my kitchen table, coffee steaming, and read more comments. "Your voice gave me mine," writes a woman from Juneau, her words echoing my nursing days when I stitched wounds and soothed fears. Laura's video call yesterday, her proud, "You're my hero, Mom," and Emma's text, "Gran, you're trending," linger in my heart. Pat's encouragement, her own triumph over estrangement, pushes me to keep speaking. I type a reply, inviting the Juneau woman to share her story. The lake's ripples catch the light, a mirror to my growing resolve. I'm not just Helen, I'm a voice for the forgotten. The phone rings, a local radio station calling. "Mrs. Dawson, your podcast's resonating," the host says, her voice warm. "Can you speak at our women's event?" My breath catches. A stage, a crowd, real faces. Women like me, their sacrifices unseen. I see Bob, his hands muddy from our rose garden, his trust in me, a seed now blooming. I nod, though she can't see, and agree. The folk music's twang lifts my spirit. Anchorage's spring air, a promise of new beginnings. What does it mean to carry others' stories? The radio host's email arrives, details glowing on my screen. Will I be ready to face that crowd? The radio host's invitation hums in my mind. I'm not just speaking for me now. My Anchorage cabin feels alive. The lake's ripples sparkling under a June sun. Their dance a rhythm of courage. The radio's Alaskan folk music twangs softly, mixing with the cedar scent of my home. I'm 67, my Silver Stories podcast a bridge to women like me. Their comments, "You're not alone," still glowing on my laptop. Bob's words, "You're enough," root me as I prepare for the women's event, a stage to carry others' stories. Mike's betrayal, his slap, and "You're a leech" are ashes now, burned with the album, but this new call feels bigger than my fight. I sift through my closet, pulling out a blue dress, its fabric soft like the roses Bob and I planted. Laura's call last night echoes, her voice warm. "You'll shine, Mom." Emma's text, "Gran, you're gonna rock it," makes me smile, her love a spark from my nursing tales. Pat's triumph over her son's estrangement, shared over coffee, pushes me forward. I jot notes for my speech, my pen tracing memories. Double shifts, hands raw, to pay for Mike's college, Laura's braces. Each word is for women pushed aside, their sacrifices unseen. The lake's glint outside steadies me. Anchorage's spring air a fresh breath. I walk to the fishing dock, my notes in hand. The lake's calm, a mirror to my peace. A neighbor waves, her smile a nod to community. Anchorage's heartbeat. I practice my opening. Silence builds strength, my voice steady, for women like the Juneau commenter, her story waiting. Bob's trust, his clause 17b, gave me this voice. I see him, his hands muddy, his regret for our distant years, a seed for my courage. The radio event looms, a crowd of faces, stories like mine. Can my voice carry their pain as it did mine? A text from the host pings, "We've added a Q&A." Will I face their questions? The stage waits, but I'm ready to share their stories, not just mine. The Anchorage Community Center buzzes, its quilt display vibrant, stitching together lives like the women gathering here. June's soft light filters through windows, the lake beyond my cabin a distant calm. Alaskan folk music hums from a speaker, its twang grounding me as I stand backstage, my blue dress smooth, my notes clutched tight. I'm 67. My Silver Stories podcast a spark for this moment. The Juneau woman's comment, "You're not alone." A fire in my heart. Bob's trust, his words, "You're enough," carry me past Mike's slap, his "You're a leech," now powerless against my voice. I step to the podium, the crowd's faces warm, their eyes holding stories like mine. Silence builds strength. I begin, my voice steady, sharing my nursing days. Hands raw for Mike's college, Laura's braces. I weave in the Juneau woman's tale, her words sent by email, her own son's greed echoing Mike's. Laura's pride, her call last night, "You're unstoppable, Mom," lifts me. Emma's text, "Gran, you're epic," glows on my phone. Her love tied to my Rose Garden stories, Pat's triumph over estrangement, her book club's cheers, fuels my courage. The quilt's colors shine, Anchorage's spirit in their threads, a community holding me. The Q&A begins, hands rising. A woman, 60, shares her story, pushed out by her daughter, her sacrifices unseen. I nod, my heart full, promising to record her for Silver Stories. Another asks, "How do you forgive?" I pause, seeing Bob's regret, his clause 17B. "You don't always forgive," I say, "but you rise." The crowd claps, their voices a chorus, my legacy growing. The lake's calm, far off, steadies me. Spring's warmth, a new dawn. What does it mean to lead their chorus? A letter arrives backstage, hand-delivered, its sender unknown. Will it change my path again? My voice, once silenced by Mike's betrayal, now echoes through the lake's calm, carrying stories of women like me who found strength in their quiet. The glow of my laptop, filled with comments from listeners who felt seen, reminds me that my Anchorage cabin is not just a home, but a beacon for those reclaiming their worth. In life, family bonds can break under greed or misunderstanding, but love, patient and resilient, builds new bridges, as Laura and Emma taught me. Forgiveness isn't always the answer. Sometimes it's standing tall, like I did, letting go of a house to gain a world. For every woman who's felt invisible, know that your story holds power, waiting to be shared. If my journey touched you, please share your thoughts in the comments or join us on Silver Stories. Your voice matters, and together we rise.